Hello, I'm going to share with you a short story called The Glass Cupboard by Terry Jones. I hope you like it. There was once a cupboard that was made entirely of glass, so you could see right into it and see right through it. Now, although this cupboard always appeared to be empty, you could always take out whatever you wanted. If you wanted a cool drink, for example, you could just open up the cupboard and take one out. If you wanted a brand new pair of shoes, you could always take a pair out from the glass cupboard. Even if you wanted a bag of gold, you just opened up the glass cupboard and there they'd be, a bag of gold coins. The only thing you had to remember was that whenever you took something out of the glass cupboard, you had to put something back in, although nobody quite knew why. Naturally, such a valuable object as the glass cupboard belonged to a rich and powerful king. One day, the king had to go on a long journey, and while he was gone, some thieves broke into the palace and stole the glass cupboard. "Now we can have anything we want," they said. One of the robbers said, "I want a large bag of gold," and he opened the glass cupboard and took out a large bag of gold. Then the second robber said, "I want 2 large bags of gold," and he opened the glass cupboard and he took out 2 large bags of gold. Then the chief of the robbers said, "I want 3 bags of gold, the biggest bags you've ever seen," and he opened the glass cupboard and took out 3 of the biggest bags of gold you've ever seen. "Hooray!" they said. "Now we can take out as much gold as we like." Well, those 3 robbers stayed up the whole night, taking bag after bag of gold out of the glass cupboard, but not one of them put anything back into the cupboard. In the morning, the chief of the robbers said, "Soon we will be the richest men in the world. But let's go to sleep for now. We can take out more gold in the morning." So they lay down to sleep. But the first robber could not sleep. He kept thinking, "If I went back to the glass cupboard now and just once more took out a bag of gold, I'd be richer than I am right now." So he got up and he went to the cupboard and he took out yet another bag of gold, and then he went back to bed. The second robber, well, he was struggling to sleep as well. He kept thinking, "If I went to the glass cupboard and took out 2 more bags of gold, I'd be even richer than the others." So he got up and he went to the cupboard and he took out 2 more bags of gold, and then he went back to bed. Meanwhile, the chief of the robbers could not sleep either. He kept thinking, "If I went to the glass cupboard and took out 3 more bags of gold, I'd be the richest of them all." So he got up and he went to the cupboard and he took out 3 more bags of gold, and then he went back to bed. And then the first robber said to himself, "What am I doing here lying asleep when I could be getting richer?" So he got up and started taking more and more bags of gold out of the cupboard. The second robber heard him and thought, "What am I doing lying here sleeping while he's getting richer than me?" So he got up and he joined his companion. And then the chief of the robbers, well, he got up too. "I can't lie here sleeping," he said. "All those other 2 are getting richer than me." So he got up, and soon all 3 were hard at it, taking more and more bags of gold out of the cupboard. And all that day and all that night, not one of them dared to stop for fear that one of his companions would get richer than him. And they carried on all the next day and all the next night. They didn't stop. They didn't stop to rest. They didn't stop to eat. They didn't even stop to drink. They kept taking out those bags of gold faster and faster, more and more of them, until at length they grew faint with lack of sleep and food and drink. But they didn't dare stop at all. All that week, all the next week, And all that month and all that winter they kept on going until the chief of the robbers could bear it no longer. He picked up a hammer and he smashed the glass cupboard into 1,000,000 pieces. And they all three gave a great cry, and they fell down dead on top of a huge mountain of gold that they'd taken out from the glass cupboard. Some time later, the king returned home, and his servants threw themselves on their knees and said, "Forgive us, your majesty, but 3 wicked robbers have stolen your glass cupboard." The king ordered his servants to search the length and breadth of his kingdom. When they found out what was left of the glass cupboard and the 3 robbers lying dead, they filled 60 great carts with all the gold and took it back to the king. And when the king heard that the glass cupboard was smashed into 1,000,000 pieces and that the 3 thieves were dead, he shook his head and said, "If those thieves had always put something back into the cupboard for every bag of gold they'd taken out, they would still be alive to this day." And he ordered his servants to collect all the pieces of the glass cupboard and to melt them down and make them into a globe with all the countries of the world upon it, to remind himself and others that the earth is as fragile as that glass cupboard.